it's getting darker and darker, and there's just no way right now for these drivers to know exactly what's going to happen.
These guys are going to have to be really, really careful and tiptoe around the track until it's either not even 10 minutes into this race, and I feel like we've got enough strategy going on for a whole event, but still a long, long way to go.
There's Yellowstone, there's Yosemite, but for racing fans and for Grid Life's Elkhart Classic, the destination is Road America, the National Park of Speed. Free ride in the front of the field here. Look at Emil Tab up the inside for the race lead. We head down to the first corner.
Have no idea what they're coming into. Look at this field. They're 2 wide, 3 wide, a couple places slip and slide.
Side by side for the race lead. 54, 48 through 3 and 4. Working lap number 60, 110 laps to go. Yusuf Ghali power move to the bottom of the racetrack, making the short way work. They're going to touch down the hill.
This will be a great run for Fuller here. Yes, if we go ran off the track in the final quarter, that'll have Fuller get a massive.
Here he comes.
Does he have a look?
Oh, big block here by Sanfilippo. Into the grass goes Ben Fuller toward turn 1, and Sanfilippo hangs on. He's loose. No! And he crashes hard in the exit of turn number 2. Don't try him here, boys. They're going to do it. Briscoe backs out. They touch. They're going to crash. Briscoe going to slam the attenuator hard into the wall, and Jared Tesson hits him as well, and big damage on these cars. That's huge.
Number 4, people are struggling for grip, going out of every single lane, trying to then run. It's getting really insane.
Powered by AWS for the Intercontinental GT Challenge, powered by Pirelli at the Indianapolis 8-hour. We are 7 hours and 18 minutes into this 8-hour event.
John Miller way deep on the brakes to the inside of turn number 1 and 2. The spin, the 3 car gets turned around in front of the car.
James Houghton looking for a place to go, but he's got Austin Cobb to the inside. A bit of a gap behind. I think that's about 15 or 16 spot as they come out of turn 3. Big slide.
Getting a run. He's got it. Going to be a drag racing line. Final corner. Checkered flag waving. Here they come. At Virginia National Raceway. To the line. Thompson, Darling, door to door. Banging doors. Fender to fender. I can't believe what we just saw.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're here at Michigan International Speedway for the next round of the Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series. They make their stop. It's the second race of their fairly short fuel playoffs. We already had one race underway at Lucas Oil Raceway, and that was an interesting race to say the least. Some nice beating, bang, some nice short track action. But now we change that. We go from a very small track to a pretty big track, all things considered. 2 miles of Michigan. It's going to be a very stark difference compared to what we were racing at last week, especially for me considering I was in the race last week, but now up in the booth here with Connor Horn. And Connor, looking forward to seeing this race.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for this one. I love Michigan up here in the Irish Hills. It's kind of a track that for some reason, I dread racing here. It's not a track I enjoy. It's just a really difficult track. It doesn't look that difficult. 2-mile racetrack, obviously very smooth track as well. Not really many bumps, but at the same time, I find it very difficult for some reason. Not one of my best tracks, but I know it's a really racy track once you're able to get into a groove, and especially on these long runs. So it should be really interesting to see if we do get a long run here today.
Yeah, and just these guys have been really, I guess I want to hold my words back after last week, but typically on the bigger ovals, especially the intermediates and the larger, the races tend to be pretty green, pretty clean for these drivers, so we could expect to definitely see a long run, especially we don't have too many cars here, just under 20 to count of, but currently at the top of the board is Chad Simpson in the 42 machine. We also got Tyler Hensley. He's rolling. I think he actually just finished his run. Trying to see who else is another driver to keep an eye on. Colin Farrell in the number 5 machine, looking pretty strong in the chase so far. In his car, finished second last week at IRP, didn't get the win. It was Shane Terrian in the 83 that was last week's winner. He's out on the track across the start-finish line for him to start a flying lap.
Yeah, he finally got that first win of the season. A lot of people are probably confused how it's his first win of the season. He's been kind of dominant in a way. He could have won so many more. He's had so many great, consistent finishes. He's really just been racking up the points, and that shows. He has that huge lead already after one of these races in the Fuel Final. 17 points over Thomas Bresci. And he just keeps doing what he needs to do. Top 5, top 10. It's going to be hard to beat him.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, just looking at the standings right now, he's leading in the amount of top 10s. He has 11 top 10s out of 13 finishes. That's what you call consistent. And even 7 top 5s to boot as well. So he's been running fairly well. And here across the line for him, 39.3. Be good enough for 5th place at the moment. I don't think the second lap will be faster, but it looks like he's going to run that anyway. Currently, Riley Thompson, as he almost scrapes the wall out of turn 2, I think he's going to bail on this next lap. I think he's going to be satisfied with that. Will Roberts, as he's drifting through turns 1 and 2. Not the fastest way around, but he's currently second on the timesheet. Oh, he's going to hit hard to the wall as well.
Backup car to the rear. Okay.
Looking at Thomas Bressi in the 24 machine, was one of those drivers you consider a favorite as far as looking at a championship bid. Again, has got to beat the likes of Shane Terry, Michael Stroll, Colin Farrell to try to get that title secured.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of strategy if this goes green for a while. Obviously, the halfway points are a big deal, leading laps, everything like that. It's going to be interesting what the strategy is if these drivers are going to play for the end of the race at lap 100, or how much they're going to value those halfway points at lap 50, at the end of lap 50. It's going to be interesting to see as Bressi, a huge lap there, he's going to go straight to pole position.
Yeah, and a really solid run. Exactly what he needs is sitting second in the point standings, just trailing back from Shane Terrian, and needs a good finish, 17 points back. So needs a good finish over that 93 car, or 83 car, sorry, to get up into the point. Speaking of Shane Terrian, he's dropped a little back to 9th, so that wasn't really particularly good lap from Terrian. Trying to see anyone else notable that's out on the track qualifying. Casey Shue in the number 4 car. He's coming out at turn 4, going to get fairly close to the wall, but no harm, no foul. Is just going to get to the line with 10 seconds to spare. What time is he going to put up? 39.4. It's going to be good enough for only 13th, as he's going to be one of the last guys to finish a qualifying run. So qualifying wrapped up here at Michigan. Thomas Bressi going to be sitting on pole.
Yeah, it's going to be a really huge start for this second race here. He's way ahead of Shane Terry in first place for Bressi, 10th for Terry, and so the 83 machine is going to have to work his way through the field if he wants to keep pace with the point total that Bressi might be putting down here today. You don't want to lose too many points to Bressi, but Bressi's going to have to stay in that first position if he wants an even better shot at getting to that championship lead.
Yeah. Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series again, or after this race again, this playoff is very short, only 4 races, so after those races we're going to be officially halfway through, then we head to Bristol and then Texas, wrapping up this season. So if you like what you're seeing, these guys have been putting up a great show, definitely in the booth, especially for me on the track. I've been racing with them the last few weeks. It's been some really good fun. I love the way these Xfinity cars race, and I'm looking forward to seeing what these guys are going to put out here on the track, but the car is already starting to grid up, and let's go through your starting lineup. Starting on pole, as we mentioned earlier, Thomas Bressi in the 24 machine. Next to him, Riley Thompson lined up in second place. Moving on back to row number 2, Bronson Stafford in third in the 61. Will Roberts next to him in fourth in the 17 car.
And then that third row, Colin Farrell and Chad Simpson. Farrell got second last week. He had a really good chase last season as well, but wasn't close enough to seal the deal. See if there's anything different this season. Fourth row, Brian Chambliss, Michael Stroll. Stroll's been really consistent this year. That's why he's third in the points. In that fifth row, rounding out the top 10, Jason Brophy, and your point leader, Shane Terrian.
Yeah, and then moving on back to 11th place, we find Tyler Hensley in the 44 machine. Next to him, Mike Hurley going to be lining up in 12th. Decent effort for the 32 car. Casey Shue going to be lined up back in the 4 car in 13th. Next to him in 14th, Robert Kenny in the 34 car.
Then a final driver to put down a time, one of the admins, Calvin Filarski in 15th. And then 4 drivers who did not take a time, Casey Lacadas, who rounds out that 8th row there, then Travis McQuiston and Christopher Matthews, and rounding out all 19 drivers starting tonight is David Mott Jr.
And you see the field starting to roll out on to the racetrack here. One pace lap, and then we'll get going here at Michigan for 100 laps. And Michigan International Speedway, constructed back in 1968. So fairly old track. It's a lot older than a lot of people think. It almost seems like it was a fairly new addition to the calendar. I might be thinking of California in that respect. Brooklyn, Michigan only has a population of 1,200. I also forgot it's in Brooklyn, Michigan, which is ironic as a New Yorker. There being a Brooklyn, Michigan. 4 turns, 2 miles, fairly long track, and also a lot smoother. I'm sure these guys are going to enjoy this being the newer version of Michigan, nice and flat. I love racing in an IndyCar compared to the old version. And the racing career of Chip Ganassi ended after an accident at Michigan in 1984. There's a fun fact that I didn't know.
Yeah, it's a very interesting fact. There's a lot of interesting facts every track. This is a kind of, it doesn't look like a unique track, but you get caught by surprise of how unique it sort of drives in a way. It's different from Auto Club, if you believe that or not. Auto Club, you kind of want to get to the very bottom there, but at a track like this, you kind of don't want to go to that very bottom groove. That white line, you can't really wrap it, or the yellow line in turns 3 and 4. It doesn't really work as well. You get really sideways down there if you try to make a move. You have to be really careful if you try going down there. You might really slip up.
Yeah, and here we see the field working through turns 3 and 4 here. The field about to be given over to Thomas Bresci. There you see the pace car diving off on a pit road. And everyone else getting wound up here. 100 laps at stake, the second race of the playoffs. And here we go, green here at Michigan. Field whipping by the cameras as Thomas Bresci leading over the rest of the field. Riley Thompson second, and then a bit of a battle going on here. 3 wide into turn 3. There you see Stroll on the bottom to the inside of Stafford. Will get the spot. Will Roberts still trying to fight on the outside lane.
A really good start there for Bresci to get out in front of Riley Thompson. Almost looked like Thompson missed a shift there, but he was able to get that second position. As Thomas Bresci, I believe, gets the bonus point leading that first lap, and hopefully he's going to hope he can get to at least 50 laps led to clinch that most laps led. And he's looking for lap 50 before he looks for lap 100 for sure.
Yeah, and again, he's looking for every bonus point he can get. He's got a pretty decent deficit, 17 points back to Shane Terrian, so he's got a lot to make up for. So he's just going to try to check up from everyone else, looking at Will Roberts trying to eye up on Riley Thompson, and also looking backwards, just talking about Shane Terrian currently sitting in 8th place. He's got the 5 of Colin Farrell right ahead of him.
He's really good at conserving his tires, so I don't think he's going to fly through the field immediately. I think he's going to take his time, especially when he's going through some of these other chase drivers, these other fuel finals drivers. You got to be patient with them, can't drive them completely idiotic. I'm kind of concerned about Bresci. I feel like I talk about it every fuel race I do, but it just seems like Bresci usually, for the most part, if he's old, has an issue with saving those tires, and he's getting a bit too big of a lead. You kind of want to stay right in front of second place if you want to conserve those tires, so I'd be worried about him.
Yeah, that's always a big concern. We've seen time and time again guys pushing just too far on the opening stint, pay the price dearly later in the run, as you see the rest of the field still battling out around the midfield. Brian Chambliss trying to make some moves up towards the front. He's right in behind the 83 Terrian, and then we got Jason Brophy as well in the 20 car making a start. I don't think he was here the last few weeks. I don't remember seeing him out, so he's joined the ranks for these guys.
Ooh, look at the dive there by Tyler Hensley. He's no stranger to that bottom line, that's for sure.
Absolutely trying to ring around the bottom. There you see also Casey Lakatos in the 50, also trying to follow it up on the inside lane, gets a bit of a run. A little bit of a block from the 44. It looks like Lakatos is going to stay in line. He's going to be a little bit patient here as the field heads off into turn 3.
Yeah, over 95 laps to go. I'd be patient a little bit too. We saw 3 wide in turn 3 though, so I guess you never know.
Whoa.
It's going to get very close to that wall, Hensley will.
Yeah, indeed he does. He's doing a bit of a slide job right in front of Brophy here, trying to defend that spot. No big change up in front. This is really where the action is. The leader is still pretty spread out, as Lakatos now making a dive to the inside of that 44.
And he almost caught Chambliss there too. They're almost going to make contact, that two getting really tight. Lakatos trying to hold it down, but the more he tries that bottom line, the more it's just going to slide up into the driver who's racing on the outside.
And you see these guys side by side here, heading down off into turn 3. Some great stuff early on. And also right in front to Shane Terrian, getting pretty close to Colin Farrell. These guys starting to get a lot closer. And, you know, for these guys, is it worth trying to push this early on in the run, or do you think they might want to be a little bit more patient out here?
I think they have to be more patient. The fuel run's going to be, I guess I would guess around 35 to 40 laps or something like that. We don't know how long they're going to push it, as Roberts went way up the racetrack. He's going to give Stroll a chance at third. You have to be conserving for like the first half of this run, so you can't really push yourself right now, or else you're really going to be ailing for the second half of this long run that they might get.
Yeah, fuel looking to be around 40 to 45 laps for these drivers, so looking at, it's going to be more likely a 2-stop race. I doubt they're going to be able to save that much fuel, but you never know. We'll have to see, especially if a caution comes out. But so far, pretty clean and green. But Will Roberts side by side now with Chad Simpson up the inside, trying to get the spot. Ooh, with Simpson very late on the entry. It's a bit concerning also to see guys diving in late. I feel like that might lead to quite a few incidents.
Yeah, we've seen that already a lot. Case Lakatos was doing the same thing, and I'd be worried about that if I was any of these finalist drivers like Terry and anyone diving to his inside. It could be trouble. You got to kind of make sure you leave the space before it happens as Simpson goes for a bit of a dive again. Will Roberts giving him that room down there to run himself into the inside and get a bit sideways. These drivers are going to have to be careful with that. Got to be very courteous and give room to drivers who are diving like that.
And also, you can see right there, right in front, Riley Thompson down on the apron trying to gain something on Bresci. Just cut a few tenths, cut a few hundredths off to try to see if he can catch him to that 24, who's been iked out almost now a second ahead of everyone else. That's still a bit concerning. We'll have to see as this goes on. But here you talk about battling Bronson Stafford up the inside of Roberts, who almost tags the wall off of 2.
Yeah, he's falling back pretty quickly here. He's on that outside, but he can't make anything work with it. He's going to get the point leader on his inside, Shane Terrian, now. As he gets stuck on the high line, he just keeps going backwards. No speed in the center of the corner.
Oh, and also right behind, too, there you saw Brian Chambers get very close to the door of that Miller Lite machine. It's the 5 of Colin Farrell, having a decent day so far. Started up in 5th, has dropped back to 8th, so he's kind of just trying to work his way on forward through the field. But some really good action in this midfield here, being led by Bronson Stafford at the moment. He also is one driver that kind of fell off since the start, is now trying to work his way up. There's a little bit of a block from Chad Simpson over Terrian. They're going to juke, they're going to weave, and into turn 3 they go. Almost contact.
It's lap 9. I don't get that type of blocking, especially when it's the points leader. Chad Simpson, he's in the fuel finals as well, so he has to battle for everything he gets, for everything he needs to get. So I guess I can't blame him too much for blocking, but that's very risky, especially with how late it was in the 3. You got to be careful of doing that.
Especially as you mentioned too, on lap 9, it'd be different if it was 9 laps to go, but lap 9 is pretty early on in the race, so you want to try to get yourself sorted out. But Will Roberts in the wall, we talked about him running that high lane. That's going to hurt him quite a bit. Start up in 4th, is going to drop back outside of the top 10. Ooh, almost tags the wall again off of 2. He's struggling.
Yeah, they're going to go 3 wide to avoid him. They're really stacking up. Terry and going to the inside again on Chad Simpson. This time the 42 doesn't throw that big of a block on him, as Stafford's going to pull away because those two being side by side now.
Here they come flying off of turn 4 yet again, side by side. These two guys don't seem particularly thrilled with one another. You see them trying to rub each other. It seems one driver is trying to go lower, one driver is kind of to go higher, and almost making contact on the front straightaway.
Simpson trying to see if he could get any side draft on that 83 to pull him back, but Chad Simpson couldn't make it work. Terran's going to barely clear him on that inside line. 42's going to have a run back, but Fambro's going to be inside now. He has nowhere to go, as Chambliss is going to push Fambro down that back stretch, and the 42's going to take a peek. Now Terrian throws the block.
Yeah, and up ahead of them, battle for second place brewing between Michael Stroll and Riley Thompson, as they've caught up to Bresci. That gap starting to drop back down and went as high as 8/9 of a second. Now it's dropped back to almost 7/10 of a second as Stroll clears that pass for second place. Looking on back, this battle still far from done. I see Fambro down below the apron. You can do that. That's legal here as he tries to get past Chad Simpson, and also maybe going to try to make a move on Terrian.
Yeah, he tried to clear Fambro out of 4, but he put Fambro on the apron. If I didn't do that on his own, he might have been doing it anyways, but the 42 makes sure he went down there. Big blocking being done by Simpson right now. He just can't do anything. Getting passed by 2 other competitors in his few finals, going backwards fast.
These guys are absolutely going at it here. Fambro gonna enter a little bit high. Chad Simpson behind him, but Simpson now starting to look like he might start to fade off a little bit. There you see Brian Chambliss up the inside, and Lakatos in the 50 car falling in behind as well. He's off for a pretty good start. Lakatos starting in 16th, already up into 9th place.
Yeah, doing a good job so far. Being a bit more patient. He was diving a little bit early in the race, but it seems like he's gotten a bit more patient as Chad Simpson is just... It seems like it's that second lane, that middle line that's really only working right there. There's no grip on by the line on the bottom as well, obviously, but there's nothing in that third lane either, so it's going to be very difficult to make passes, as Fambro's trying to do to the 83 now.
And Fambro, as you mentioned, trying to get that pass done on Shane Terrian. That fly looks like he's starting to come alive. He figured now's the time to punch it, and he's trying to get up as fast as possible through the field. Looks like he might win this battle, although not completely over just yet. He's going to barely get clear of the 83. I think he's still got a quarter panel overlapping. Finally going to get clear of him down into turn 1.
Terry might try to cross him up a little bit here. He made sure he got back to the bottom. That's exactly what he's going to try to do. Get under him, but sweep up a little bit. Just didn't have enough grip to make that work, so maybe Fambro can lead them back up to the top 4. As Stafford actually pulled away from them, and he's actually starting. Riley Thompson saving his tires heavily, or maybe to 56 doesn't have as much pace as we thought.
Yeah, it could be. He might have tried to push a little bit too hard early on, maybe to catch that 24, but riding off the back of Colin Farrell now. You can see a fairly large stretch of drivers. Actually, I guess this might not be the best camera angle there. You can see stretch of 6 cars all battling for one spot effectively at the moment. These guys have not been able to break away from each other all race so far.
Ooh, wow. We have a bit of a wreck in the back. Christopher Matthews is way off pace on the front stretch. Not sure what happened, but he has damage. Also, David Mott Jr. has some damage. Not sure what happened there.
Let's see if we can take a look at what happened. Whoa, okay. There's some shenanigans off here. This is through turns 3 and 4. I see the 2 of Calvin Filarski. Was he a factor in this?
Looks like he's going to hit the wall on his own, and Filarski's going to have nowhere to go.
Whoa.
Oh my, what a good job. I don't think he even hit him. Great job. Also, good save by Matthews.
Yeah, in front of that incident from being a lot worse, so Matthews is going to have to continue on for the rest of this race with a fairly torn up car. I'm sure he's probably not going to be too happy dealing with that situation, but back up near the front. This is starting to get a little bit worried. This is what we're talking about with Bresci. He seems to just blow off his tires a little bit too hard early on. That gap's now fallen down to 0.3 of a second. Stroll is coming up on him very quickly.
And the battle for third still brewing right now. Riley Thompson under heavy pressure from Bronson Stafford. He's really fighting on this third line, though. He's the first driver to be able to fight kind of well on this third line. Stafford is better in the center, but it just can't seem like he can clear high. He hasn't gotten really close yet. This is his best shot, but they're going to be dead even at the line.
Indeed, they are. Neither driver wanting to give up. It looks like Stafford's got a bit of an advantage heading off into one. And still not clear between them. As you see, Stafford's finally going to get clear of that 56.
Oh, yellow. The caution's going to come out. I think it might be for Will Roberts. Yes, it is. I saw him out of. He went through the infield grass out of turn 4, and he must not have been able to save it.
Yeah, I heard you were talking about something. I wasn't sure. I assumed that's what it was. Oh, okay. This had a bit of history to it. Not really with any particular driver. Just this was a long incident.
With his own driving.
And Roberts actually got loose out of the corner. Didn't even get tight, hit the wall. I thought that's what happened. Nope, just got loose. And through the grass he went. You can see the tire tracks of Matthews where he went earlier. I'm not sure how he ended up bringing the car. Oh, just trying to rejoin. Was out of control. Hit the rear of the car a little bit. Ooh, and you don't want to be spiraling down on the inside, but was somehow able to save it. That was a wild ride for Roberts.
Looks like turn 4 is a trouble spot early. Got one driver who got tight and hit the wall. Another driver got loose. Looks really very unstable over there at that end of the track, but that gives these drivers a chance to kind of regroup.
You can see that.
Maybe.
I'm trying to just save the car. At least he did a great job keeping the car off the wall. Tagged the rear just a little bit, but I think it should be fine other than that. So that's going to be our first caution of the evening here on lap 18.
That wreck went. He wrecked from turn 4 all the way into turn 1, so I think that counts for something.
I'm sure it does here, but I'm sure Bresci's going to probably breathe a sigh of relief because he was very much in danger of getting passed by Stroll if that run continued on. I imagine we're going to see everyone come on down pit road. Might see a few try to stay out, maybe get a lap led just for points. And as I say, there you see Casey Licata, always, as always.
It's always him, isn't it? He's going to get that lap led. He's going to get put to the rear end of the field, but that's one bonus point that no one else has yet.
I mean, hey, it's honestly worth doing something like that considering how few cars we have. We only have 19 cars, all of which are still running and on the lead lap, so it doesn't really hurt too much being put to the back of the pack. As you see everyone coming down into the pit, so this is going to be big though. Does anyone slide through the box? Ooh, Brian Chambliss hits the pit wall. And Brophy also ran through his box. Some pit road mishaps for a few drivers down on pit road. Let's see the race off. It looks like no one's going to be going for 2. Not too surprised with that. And it looks like it's going to be Bresci. And, ooh, I think Stafford.
Yeah.
Might have got him for second.
Yeah, really good stop there. Got a bit lucky there. Also probably had a good entrance and exit from his box there, so he's going to get the spot there, but he's going to be on the outside, so that might be an advantage for Stroll anyways. You were talking about being concerned with Bresci, but I was kind of concerned of Riley Thompson. He's usually good with saving the tires, but he just didn't seem like he had much pace there to hang with those top 2, top 3 a little bit. He was getting passed by Stafford when that yellow came out.
Yeah, also looking at the pit stop times too for Bronson Stafford, 14.2 for him. And his stop for Michael Stroll, it was a 14.7, so his virtual pit crew dropped the ball a little bit there, cost him half a second, and that was effectively why we saw him getting past, and Stafford will be able to see what he does. He's been a little bit quiet. Yeah, I thought he would have been a lot stronger from the get-go of this race, but took a little bit of time to get up to speed. Not sure that was from him just saving his car till the end or what that was, but we'll see if he can get now a second lease on life. As
Ooh, I wonder if is he actually staying out here? That would be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it registered if he let the last lap. Let me check that.
I believe he did.
Oh, he did. So he's gonna get another one.
And he's good. Unless he's going to pit with 1 to green, he might stay out here, so that's interesting. I don't think there's much of a reason to conserve the tires. They have 4 extra sets, so you can take them every 20 laps to the end if you wanted to. So
yeah, I don't know.
We'll see if that works here. He might pick coming to the green. Don't know.
Yeah, I guess he might be thinking maybe he can, make it on one more stop from here. It's going to be a bit tough to do that, but that might be his mindset. Otherwise, he's going to need another caution, otherwise he's going to be very off strategy, I think. But we'll see how this works for the 50. This is going to be interesting, too, because he's on almost now 20-lap-old tires compared to the rest of the field. Everyone else on 4 fresh Goodyears, so this will be a bit of an interesting restart.
Yeah, I maybe he missed when the pits opened for him. You have 4 extra sets. 20 you use each set 20 laps, and you're good. I don't know. I feel like he's just throwing away a lot of time doing this, but I guess maybe he's looking for something else. I'm not quite sure. I don't know.
Also, quickly before we go back green, we never do this, but I figured since we're so close to the milestone, might as well. We're only 11 subscribers away from a 2K sub, so we can break that milestone. Really appreciate a sub. From everyone watching, if you're not subscribed, please do click the red subscribe button down below and add to that total. We're so close. I didn't realize how close we were until I was checking when I was logged into the account. So if you can make that come true, 2K subs will be an awesome milestone to hit. But Lakatos immediately could have jumped the gun. Might have done it a bit too early. We'll have to see here as the green flag's back in the air.
Yeah, you better hope he doesn't get a penalty here. That was really close. He went way early. And we're going to see here, watching the turn 1, how much time he's going to lose on these older tires to the 24 of Bresci. He had no choice but to jump that early. Watch the time he's going to lose right here.
Oh, yeah, you can see right there. And you can hear the tires squealing. He's giving it all he's got. But Bresci, that car looks nice and gripped up at the moment. But so does the 8 of Michael Stroll. He's also looking to make a pass down on the back straightaway.
That's going to box Bresci in here. That's going to give the advantage to the 8 machine. He's going to get... Actually, no, they're going to go 3 wide. Lakatos up the racetrack to pretty much let everyone by here. Farnborough, Stafford, Riley Thompson, Chad Simpson get it really tight out of 4. 3 wide.
Whoa, Riley Thompson sideways out at turn 4 is going to save it down below on the apron. That could have been disastrous had he not. Bresci going to take the lead of this race. Stroll wasn't able to get it as he was pinching out. Here comes Colin Farrell up the inside. These two, a little bit of history from last week.
Yeah, I think Stroll thought he was going to have the lead there, and then all of a sudden it was 3 wide, so he wasn't able to get that advantage over Bresci. He's going to get passed by Farnborough, going to go a bit of a crossover at a 2. I don't think he has the run. Look at the 61. He's got a run on both of these drivers.
Oh, and the 5 Farnborough throwing a block. You can tell though these guys are racing. They don't want to be in behind one another. They want to be up in front, but Bresci currently taking that away. Now I'm curious if we might see Bresci back off the pace early on just a little bit. He got, I think, a little bit too far out in front in the first run, so we'll see if he dials it back just a little bit, just to stay in front of Colin Farrell and the like. Bronson Stafford in behind in 4th. He's trying to size up Stroll, and Tyler Hensley up in 5th place. He's got a good run going for him at the moment.
Yeah, the top 2 right now are some really aggressive drivers, so I think Bresci, I don't know if he can afford the back off as they're going through right around Lakatos in the back again. I don't think Bresci wants to see the 5 anywhere close to his rear bumper. You see him breaking the draft down the back straightaway. I think he wants to keep that little buffer he has over the 5 machine. I don't think he wants to have any sort of drama.
Riley Thompson making a move to the inside, way down below on the yellow line, trying to get past Chad Simpson. Indeed, will get that pass done. And also you see Tyler Hensley, he's sizing up Bronson Stafford on the front straightaway.
Yeah, he didn't get Stafford 61 didn't get that great of a run, but he's going to get a decent run on that outside through the tri-oval as Hensley's going to try to really battle hard on that bottom. He's going to send it in right there, all the way even below that first seam. You usually want your left sides on that first seam, but he's going to go to a complete yellow line there. Not going to work. Stafford gets the position. He's going to have to come up right in front of Riley Thompson. Thompson swerves.
Thompson doesn't want to stay behind him either. Going to immediately try to make a move to the inside to retake that spot back. And we'll get that spot done after he had a little bit of a spin off a turn 4. Great recovery, though, and up in front, it's still Bresci, then Farnborough, and then now Stafford. He's got a great run over the back of Stroll. Nowhere to really go exactly. Going to try to look to the top side.
Nice surprise. He's looking to the top. Stroll wants to come up in front of him, but can't do it. Stafford looking to the high line. Hensley into the wall, into the entry of the corner. I think he scraped it in the 1. He's going to lose that spot to Chad Simpson.
Yeah, I think that might have been these guys trying to just ike out to the right to set up for the entry. Might have gone just a little bit too far for him. And right in behind, as you can see, Shane Tarrant has been a bit quiet this race. Again, expect to see him near the front, but he's been fairly consistent, if not for the wins. Again, as you mentioned, got his first win last week at IRP, so we'll see if he can maybe get win number 2, if not a solid finish home here tonight. Again, he's competing with the 24 Bresci. Bresci looking to collect some solid points if he can keep this up again. Also halfway points, 10 points for leading at halfway, all the way back to 1 point for 10th place. So big points on the line for Bresci. He's going to try to dominate this race as much as possible. We mentioned too him getting the most laps led. He's pretty close to that so far, 22 laps led of 26.
He's not just battling that 24, he's also battling the 8. Michael Stroll is only 2 points behind Bresci, so those two pretty much being, I would say, the two best cars today so far, 26 laps in. He's going to lose a lot of points. He's going to lose points to everyone. Chad Simpson as well, he's in front of him. Also, trying to see Riley Thompson, obviously Tyler Hensley's in front of him, obviously the 5 of Colin Farrell. He's going to have to get up there. He's going to lose a lot of points to a lot of drivers, but particularly the 24 and the 8, he's going to lose good points to, and that might really tighten things up.
Drivers running nose to tail here. Curious how aggressive the 8 of Stroll is going to be. He's already been in behind the fight. These guys have been already around each other for quite a while, so all things seem to be calm and collected at the moment. I'm not sure how long that's going to last, as they both got the 24 right ahead of them.
5's going to slip up the track. That's going to be Stroll's chance to maybe get under him here out of 4. He's going to maybe hit him a little bit out of 4. That got really tight. He's going to have to run on the bottom.
Here we go, side by side here for second place. Who's going to be more aggressive, defending or passing as they head off into turn 1? There you see Stroll, another late entry. He's going to force the 5 up the track and then dive down low, and the 8 will move himself up into second place.
That's kind of what you call arcing them out. You kind of do that late entry on purpose so the guy on the outside just doesn't have a good turn in, loses a lot of time, slips up the track, but it didn't work quite well. Farrell's going to go for a crossover into 3.
Yeah, it wasn't quite set up, though, enough. He just got to the quarter panel. The AI is still there, though. Really trying to make it work. See Stroll trying to squeeze him out of it, but can't quite get it done. And now Fambro's back on the inside. These guys still side by side.
And Bresci's giving the 5 car of the draft. I think he'd much rather have Fambro behind him than the 8 of Michael Stroll, who looked faster than the 24 of Bresci on that long run. Stroll's going to let him back by. Riley Thompson went for a big dive on Bronson Stafford there into turn number 1.
He's going to have to back out of the corner, though. He's got to be careful, especially on the exit. It looks like Stafford's going to be able to win that battle. Thompson going to have to settle back in for 5th place. Same thing for Stroll. Looks like he's backed off of Fambro for now. In behind, I see a bit of a move for position. That's McQuistion on Tyler Hensley. He will try to get that 8th place spot as Hensley goes up the track. And that outside lane, similar to what we saw last night at Rockingham with the 8-7 cars, outside lane not really coming in.
At 2 different tracks too, Rockingham and Michigan. I don't think they'd be comparable, so to speak, but pretty much the same story. That third line, nothing new, and he's kind of looking like Will Roberts did on the first run, where he just kind of got stuck up there and couldn't do anything. Speaking of getting stuck up there, the 5 really slid up in the middle of turns 1 and 2. Stroll's going to have another run at him.
You can see how much speed he lost mid-course. I mean, you get some of that back on the straightaways, so Stroll really not able to do a whole lot down. You see, not even really closing up with any sort of slipstream. Is pretty much staying equidistant as they head off into turn 3. Now you can see, though, Stroll trying to charge that inside lane and get a decent run off of 4. And he's working with inches here.
Yeah, he actually didn't get as much of a draft on Fambro as I thought he would. I kind of wonder if that has anything to do with the manufacturers, because, you know, the Fords have a lot of power there under their hood, so you never really know. I'm not sure how much that actually affects the racing, but I know those Fords have some power. They're usually preferred at big tracks.
Yeah, we'll definitely see if that is helping him out. It's definitely working for whatever it is working for him at the moment. Stroll's still trying to build up a run. But I am really a bit surprised that there isn't much more draft. I know these things have a fairly low spoiler and don't punch that much of a hole through the air, especially in comparison to the Cup cars, but you really didn't get anything down the straightaways. But both of them seem to be catching up to Bresci quite a bit here.
This could be the point where maybe Bresci's stuff is starting to fall off just that little bit. See, it was Michael Stroll who he was starting to catch Bresci after around 15 laps in the run.
Yeah, it was a 10th off from 10th off is Bresci compared to Fambro, so yeah, he's gonna start having to get a little bit worried here. And it was around 20 laps into the run, so it's actually a lot earlier.
Yeah, it's a bit earlier now. Might have been driving even harder just to keep the 5 a safe distance behind him, but it's really, he's going to start paying the price early in this run as the 5 is really closing in. It's going to get dicey if these 3, even these 4 start battling for the lead as Bronson Stafford's following these 3 close behind.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 really are effective drivers battling for the lead at the moment, and 4 of them, or sorry, 3 of them, 3 of the 4 are your playoff drivers. Again, the playoff drivers lit up in orange on the left-hand side on the ticker, and you can see everyone but Stafford in the top 9 is a Fuel Finals driver. So those guys doing really good at the moment in comparison to the rest of the field, all near the top of the standings. Stafford, again, the only outlier in that, but he's just trying to get wins at this point, and he's honestly looking pretty strong, although, as you mentioned, the guys up in front of him looking just that much more stronger.
Yeah, this is when the Stroll's machine's really going to start coming into his own here. Fambro looks fast as well, but I think the 8 just has a different level when it comes to saving the tires. We'll be able to see here if this run goes a bit longer. So these drivers, this is not going to be just roll over for each other because there's a long way to go. Those halfway points are very vital, especially for Bresci and Michael Stroll. Also Fambro as well. He's got a big run at it too.
Indeed, he's going to look to the inside of that 24. Thomas Bresci looks like it might be it for Bresci up in the front of this race. He's led almost every single lap, at least under green. But it looks like it might end now. To the inside goes Fambro. Bresci going to try to tuck down low. They're going to make a little bit of contact. The 24 going to go up the hill. Does he hit the wall? He does not hit the wall. Fambro going to take the lead, but as you mentioned, here comes Stroll with a great run down to the inside.
And all that work to get the lead, it didn't work. Stroll led that lap anyways. Fambro stayed second in that lap, is now at the 24, mere full of Stafford. Bronson Stafford backs off for him as Fambro way up the racetrack, trying to stay on the outside of Stroll. Can't make it work. Somehow out of that, Michael Stroll gets to the lead.
Here comes Fambro now trying to size up Stroll as they were battling for second place. Is now the battle for the lead. There you see also in behind Bresci sizing up Stafford to get third place back. You see a bit of a block from the 8. Fambro going to try to dive it in low. Is going to have too narrow of an angle into the corner. Is going to wash up, but actually might have something here on the inside. Here he goes.
Yeah, all of a sudden he looks like the faster driver here. Big run on the bottom out of 4. He's going to take that lead back. Has a bit of right rear damage from the contact with Bresci, but it doesn't seem to be hurting him too much as he finally leads a lap here for those bonus points.
Yeah, and I can't imagine that's going to affect him too much. You see a switchback from the 8. These guys are this is far from over with these guys. And they're just starting to stack up a lot more drivers in behind. There you see Thompson's caught up. So has Shane Terrian into this mix.
And that's not what Bresci needs to see. He's back to third already, might have some left front damage, and he sees the points leader that he needs to gain points on, catching back up to him as well as Riley Thompson. So he's going to have to, he's going to really be driving hard. He's not going to lay over at all. Fambro up the racetrack again, giving Stroll a better chance
and
at
Bronson
the bottom.
Stafford almost hits the 24.
Oh, he did hit him.
Yeah, you saw the 24 get a little bit sideways. He didn't want to let off the gas because he had such a good run there. He's side by side with the 24, and there you see Fambro and Stroll side by side for the lead. These guys are absolutely going at it, and we're still not even halfway through this race.
They're two by two, 3 rows deep, literally. Riley Thompson and Bronson Stafford battling now, getting really tight for that third position. They've hit a couple times. They're hitting again almost. Fambro almost got passed by Stroll there.
Here's a good angle to look at all this madness going on. Still side by side, fender to fender for the lead. These guys are playing with inches up in front. Almost looks like Stroll was going to dump the 5. He might be getting some thoughts of that with the way these guys have been racing. Bresci trying to get clear. Also the 61. Here comes Shane Terrian to the picture. He's in 5th, trying to look at 4th.
Oh, Stroll's going to put a block on that top line, and Fambro not going to work. Fambro's going to have a run. Bresci has a run, getting clear of Stafford here. He wasn't happy with Stafford. I guess I can't blame him, but it's just hard racing at Michigan. He's got to pinch like that to keep that top lane working. You see that third lane doesn't work, so they have no choice but to pinch, really, as Fambro's starting to fall back all the way back to 3rd where he was.
Yeah, and I was also getting really nervous with the way he looks like he's trying to side draft Stroll as Stroll's trying to throw a block on him. That's a recipe for disaster. Luckily, nothing happened from it. But there you see Bresci, he's going to try to get that 2nd place spot. Will indeed get clear. Here comes Terrian, going to throw it up the inside of Fambro for 3rd.
Terrian's got to be smart. He's got 3 aggressive drivers in front of him. He can't afford to beat and bang with these guys. He has to keep his car clean to keep that points advantage that he has, as Fambro's going to battle him really hard for that position.
Here comes Fambro trying to get that run back, as you mentioned here, heading off into turn 1 here. You can see these guys flying past the camera here as they're all still duking out 2 abreast. And Fambro going to try to throw it up the inside. I can't mention that 24. He's asking a lot of his tires now, but I don't think there's much more to give.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't try to block the 5 a little bit harder. That outside line started to fade with Fambro and Bronson Stafford in it. Stafford just has no choice but to push these guys on the outside. Fambro and Bresci. There's going to be really extra pinchy going on.
Oh,
the fire's
Faber
going to get
got a little
loose.
bit loose, and he's going to get into the 24. This could be a wreck here.
Oh,
I see a stack up in
brilliant.
behind. Thompson hits the 83, and they spin down onto pit road. I don't think we have a caution up. There it is.
Yes, there is. And Tarian got involved. I'm not sure how much damage the 83 got out of all of that, but he's going to have to really recover from all of that as the 5 had to go down pit road. Tarian does have some right front damage and big rear damage. I think Chad Simpson might have gotten into him. That's huge right there.
Yeah, no, it was Riley Thompson that gave him, got into him there as they're all trying to slow up for that. That was a long one waiting to happen here, and I guess should ride on board with the 5. Wanted to see what happened with him. That caused him to check up the hill.
I feel like he got a bit loose here. Might see a better angle. The Bresci was hanging on his door as hard as he could here. Sends it in, gets on his door right here. And he's going to hit that seam. That seam got him a little bit loose. Wiggles there. They already hit. He gets wiggles again. Tries to save it. And Tarian gets pushed into him right there.
And for Tarian there, you see him sliding on through the grass as Fambrel made his way down onto pit road. Let's take a look at Riley Thompson. His on board for what he saw from that, because he was the one that got into the 83 car.
They hit right there. They're going to hit again right here.
He didn't really see anything.
Yeah. He had nowhere to go. He had no time to check up. He's going to have bigger damage than maybe anyone else in that wreck, actually. Huge front end damage is going to really cost him down these long straightaways as they're going to come down the pit road.
Hey, let's take a look at that down on pit road with a lot of the field, especially some of them needing some pit road repairs. But Thomas Bresci, I'm sure he's going to be pretty happy with that. One of his major competitors has some crash damage. Might not be a lot, but it's going to also definitely put him in the back of the pack. See if these guys get service to their machines.
Yeah, really, all of these guys. Chad Simpson has some. Riley Thompson has the big front end damage. The 83 and the 5 are going to have to come from the rear of the field with the damage they have. So Bresci's looking like in a good spot to really contend for the win. But saying that, he's going to have to pass Michael Stroh now. Those two have been the strongest, and they're probably going to be battling it out here to the end.
Yeah, absolutely, as you mentioned. Yeah, so Stroll up in first, Bresci in second, Bronson Stafford, your top 3 off of pit road, and then we got a lot of the other drivers, Shane Tarian, Colin Farrell down on pit road getting repairs, and I imagine we're going to see Riley Thompson come on down as well. Not sure where he is. Oh, he's out in 6. I think he actually just came straight out into the track. He didn't even bother for repairs, I think.
I don't think so. He's about 6 now, so I guess he's going to opt for hopefully it gets better. You got to be careful he doesn't overheat. A lot of tape on these front ends with the setup that they have, so hopefully that doesn't come into play.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, doesn't seem to be that bad on the nose. Not as bad as I thought.
The splitter is going to be the splitter down there of how crickled it is. That's going to be really difficult in the corners, especially.
Yeah, I guess I think he looked at how much damage he had to fix, and I guess figured it wasn't worth sitting in pit road for getting repairs. Never mind, he's going to come back down and fix it. So I think with that, we're going to take just a little bit of a break, catch a bit of a breather, because I think we're going to be going quite a bit, especially considering how intense that last battle was. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And we're back live for the Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series here at Michigan. Field lining up in between turns 3 and 4. We got Stroll, Bresci, Stafford, Simpson, and McQuistion. Your top 5 as the pace truck rolls on to pit road. And we get ready to go green here on lap 42, coming to 43.
This is going to be a big restart, restarting with about 8 to go before the end, before they get the halfway. So Michael Stroll, Thomas Bressi battling for points with Shane Terrian on the outside of the top 10 trying to get back up there. These are very vital points to get within single digits of that 83 machine.
Yeah, absolutely. You definitely mentioned, you can imagine these two up in front are going to battle tooth and nail for those points. As you mentioned, they're within a few points of each other trying to chase down Terrence. This is a really good situation for them. Looking forward to the rest of their playoff hopes here, but they're going to be battling out pretty hard here. Can't imagine what Bress is going to do. This is the first time he's been on the back foot on one of these restarts. He's been leading every other time, but he's going to be all over the back of that 8 car. Now for him, how hard do you push? Do you want to try to save anything for the later part of the run, or do you want to just get those bonus points? Never mind that. 4 wide in the background.
Yeah, Brian Chambliss hit the wall at a turn number 4, so he's going to stack up the field as the 24 goes for the dive to the inside for the race lead. Even below that bottom seam, going to not make it work. Stroll's going to have a big run to get a bit of a gap on that 24 here. As I'm looking at Shane Terrian coming through the field here, trying to get any points, trying to recover to keep pace with those two.
And he actually is just gotten past. He's right fighting with Florsky now for that final points-paying spot at halfway. And I think this should be a fairly easy battle. Should be able to work on by the 2. Indeed, he does. But he was 4 wide on the front stretch from last time through, trying to just gain as many spots as possible. And there you see our 2 leaders breaking away from the rest of the field. It's Bronson Stafford in 3rd, then Simpson, and then McQuistion back in 5th place, fighting for 4th.
I think Bronson Stafford might be just saving. I think he might be in the best spot if this went green to the end, because those two are obviously battling very hard for that top position for those bonus points. Well, Stafford, he doesn't care. He just needs wins, so let him go.
There we
Catch
go.
him later.
For the lead, here comes Bressi with a great run to the inside. Going to be very much alongside, heading down into turn 3. We'll try to do a slide jump, get clear of the 8. But we've seen Stroll time and time again. He's been able to do some great over-unders out of this final corner.
He has a bit of a run. I don't think it's going to be enough to even get under him into turn number 1, but he's definitely going to try. Bressi trying to break that draft like he's been doing so well so far in this race. The 8's not going to have much of a challenge. This might be Bressi's. He's better on the short run than Stroll. We'll see if Stroll just lets him go here.
Indeed, it looks like that might be the case, at least for now here. A little bit of separation between them. And looking on back, there you see McQuistion, Chad Simpson, and the like. Casey Licata is up in 7th place, but Shane Terrian right in behind. You see him, he's working around Will Roberts at the moment. And that's a fight for 8th place that Terrian will win.
I don't know how much farther up the standings he's going to be able to get here with the damage he has. Roberts getting really sideways out of 4, but Terrian, it does really look like that front end damage is going to be really hurting him a little bit, not getting through the field as fast as I thought he would. So he's probably going to, he might be really struggling here for these last 50 laps.
Yeah, I have to see. I can imagine, as you mentioned, that car definitely not. Wow, I really can see from that side angle how bashed in the rear of that car is. Spoiler oil messed up, and that's really what you don't need. So yeah, I definitely think this car is going to be out of race winning contention. It's just a matter of now mitigating the damage here. He's just trying to pick up some of the points for halfway. As we mentioned, Bressi building a gap up to Michael Stroll here. Not sure how much that gap's going to last, if it's going to last much longer past halfway. I think Bressi looking like he might be the leader there, but looking further on back, we got Bronson, Stafford, McQuistion, and Simpson 3-way fight for 3rd.
It's not the end of the world if Stroll can't get the Bressi. It's 10-1, I believe, through the top 10 for those halfway points. So he's only going to lose 1 point to Bressi. He's going to be about 3 points behind him after these halfway points. Also, they both got bonus points for leading laps. And then Bressi, I believe, probably has the most laps led. So they're still going to be very close to each other. But really the main goal is not to beat Bressi. It's to beat that 83 machine, which he's so far doing.
You see McQuistion as we look at them fighting for 3rd place. I don't know, McQuistion with a great run so far, putting himself inside the top 3 past Bronson Stafford, who's a pretty solid car. Again, not sure this is a 61, just trying to save his pace, knowing that this is going to be a matter of long run pace from here to the end. Maybe just waiting for the top 2 to start backing off here as you got 2 laps to go to halfway.
He had a really good 3 and 4. They're closing back up onto 24. Bressi, a run down the backstretch as well. We'll see if he has anything to challenge with, but it's going to take a lot more than just 1 lap or a set of turns to make that pass work as Bressi breaks the draft again.
Yeah, you never know. We'll see what the 8's got. If he may even get a little bit physical here for that 1 point. I mean, you said it's only 1 point, but considering how close these guys on the standing, that can make all the difference here, especially when that 1 point is right ahead of you here. As you see Bressi trying to break that draft here, 1 lap to halfway.
I'm kind of surprised Stroll's following up to the outside on the front stretch. I really don't think that's much of an advantage, but he's doing it anyway. Just might as well, I suppose. Look how much Stroll drives it in different. He backs out into 1 to get this huge run off of 2 that he's trying to get to the bumper with.
Looks like he's going to go for it here. Got a great run off of turn 2 here. He's going to try to build up a run down the back straightaway. Just a matter now. Can he get enough alongside Bresci to make that move? There he goes with the dive. Is he going to be able to pull out the slide job?
Oh, he's going to get really tight off of 4. It's going to be very close. I think he's actually going to clear Bresci. What a charge here out of turn 4 on the final lap. Bresci's going to challenge.
Yep, and at halfway is going to be Michael Stroll. Will pick up 10 points to his name. Bresci only going to get 9. That's going to drop the deficit between them that much more. And looking at where Shane Taryn came across the line, he came across the line in 7th place.
Yeah, good job. He got that extra point on that final lap. I believe he just barely passed Jason Brophy, so he's able to keep pace with these guys. So he's going to get about 4 points out of that, while Stroll gets 10, Bresci gets 9. So the gap just under, I believe, 15 points. It's still not completely over just yet. Taryn's got to get through the field as well to keep even better pace, or else those two are going to be right on him next week.
Also, how about Travis Cushing? He's looking like he's on a tear at the moment. Last lap through, he ran 40.1 to Bresci's 40.5. Wow, that's a huge difference in lap times. That time through, it was 3/10 between the leaders and McQuistion, so this 93 starting to be a factor now.
Yeah, I think he realized after lap 50 came and went, excuse me, it's time to pretty much go get that lead, go get that win. He's in the finals as well, and he has a lot more ground to make up to these drivers. He's about, trying to see how many points out, 40 points out on Taryn into this race, so he has a long climb to go and not much time to do it.
Yeah, he's going to need a lot bad stuff to happen. I guess you can argue some bad stuff already happened to Shane Taryn, but I think he's going to need a lot worse for the other championship competitors to get himself back in this race. But if not, if anything else, he's doing really well for himself. And we got Bronson Stafford, Chad Simpson, and Casey O'Connor also right in the mix as well. Only a second between our top 6.
Yeah, Makata's up there in that 6th position here, and remember, he's got that extra set of tires. Everyone else is down to 2 new sets of tires. Well, Makata still has 3. He's probably, I believe he's the only one with 3 sets left. So that could come into play at the end of the race, depending on how the racing goes. So that could be very key for the 50 to be able to get the spot up there. He also has a track position for it.
Curious to see if the 50 of Lacaz is just going to kind of sit here patiently, wait, see what the guys up in front do. That's what I would do in his case, just kind of let these guys battle amongst themselves, considering they've already been doing a great job of that so far. As Stroll is starting to try to etch his lead a little bit further from that 24 Bresci. Bresci looking like he might be passed by McQuistion here in a few laps' time.
Well, I was thinking these guys aren't going to the apron through the tri-oval anymore. You see Stroll leading him up to the outside wall, sort of like you would maybe in a real-life Xfinity race at some sort of super speedway. We saw that a lot of Talladega in the real-life race. We kind of thought before that wreck happened, it was looking like a super speedway race. We thought they were 2x2, 3 rows deep.
Yeah, especially like the cut packages. You see McQuistion now got a great run on the back straight. They're going to make it dive to the inside of that 24. Bresci's going to get way out of line. You can see him out of the rubber in line. Goes flying up towards the wall. It doesn't quite get a good run off of turn 4. He's going to pay the price. McQuistion now trying to bear down on him. You actually get clear of that 93. Here comes Bronson Stafford looking up the outside.
I don't know if Bresci wants to race with that 61 anymore. Remember, they made contact as well. He didn't just make contact with the 5. He was racing really hard with the 61 of Bronson Stafford before that wreck ensued. So he probably doesn't want him to be the first car behind him. I think he'd rather have McQuiston there, but that 61 is fast.
80 is, and now starting to come alive. You're talking about him being a little bit quiet, but now he's starting to kick it off here especially because he knows all 3 of the cars ahead of him have definitely burned up their stuff, especially the 24 and the 8, considering how hard they were battling for those halfway points. They're now going to start paying the price.
And Shane Taryn actually got passed back by Brophy, so maybe he let him by for that spot. Not quite sure, but Brophy definitely faster, getting away from the 83 a little bit. A little bit of the pack there with Filarski and Robert Kennys. They almost went 3 wide in the back of the pack. There's a huge battle going on for 11s, like Hurley, Will Roberts, and Colin Farrell, who's also trying to get back through the field.
Yeah, look at this 3 wide. As you mentioned, Roberts did not have a good start to this race. I guess he had a good start, but fell off a little bit after the fact. Still 3 wide. Oh, he's going to get sideways almost into Hurley coming off at turn 2. That one was almost disastrous there. AC Chambliss now trying to make a move to the inside of that 32, and Famro in the 17 almost banging doors here into 3.
I don't know if he liked the through-ride move there. I think Roberts just got stuck in the middle. I think he wanted to clear high on Hurley, but he just wasn't quite clear, so he started swerving, really panicking a little bit there, as he's really battling the Fambro hard. Fambro, the 5 machine.
It looks like Famro's going to be able to win that battle for now.
He's up the racetrack.
Yep, and I was just cutting back up to this battle. It looks like it was getting spicy, and indeed it did with Bresci. Not sure what happened to him.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. As they'll look at the 61, he's going to go to the bottom here immediately for that position, trying to get the third position away. Just a dogfight for this third spot.
And here's a look at what happened. Oh, it looked like McQuistion came up, got into the 24 and knocked him out of line. That allowed Stafford, Simpson, and even Lakatos to work their way on by.
I'll tell you what, Bresty might not be the most popular driver in the garage area there, but I don't think Warren's getting doored up the track. That's at least the second or third time. It's multiple times he's been hit, whether he's been hit up the track or doored from the outside. He is getting roughed up.
Yeah, and he's not been a particular fan of that over the course of the season. So I'm curious to see how he's feeling under the helmet. I can't imagine too particularly well, considering he was already struggling to fight for that car for second, keeping up with the 8 of Stroll, and now he's got to deal with another 4 cars ahead of him that he would argue should have been behind him as he's trying to outwork to the inside of Lakatos. And up in front, no contact. You see McQuistion up into the wall, spinning off at turn 4. Big crash. It's the big one at Michigan.
Man,
and the caution flag flies, and you can see the hood missing from that 24 car.
That is not what the 24 needed at all. That's not what any of those guys needed. Michael Stroll and especially the 5 and the 83 are very happy about that. That was again, just like the other wreck, that was bound to happen. We saw that coming.
And turn 4 has been calamity corner, it seems, so far this race. I think we've had 4 incidents, 2 of which have resulted in a caution coming out of this final corner. Let's see what happened here. Looks like the Stafford just punched it on the gas. McQuistion was trying to bear on down, keep him down there, hit violently into each other off the wall. And there you see Chad Simpson get a piece. Not too much. Same thing with Lakatos, but Bresci taking a pretty solid hit to the nose of that car.
Yeah, Bresci had nowhere to go. He kind of got right hooked into that accidentally. Lakatos was trying to avoid it, and they kind of came together. Stafford just gassed it. Like you said, he gunned it, trying to get the run on McQuiston. Didn't have the room for it. 93 in the wall, and he couldn't save it before getting hit here.
Oh, yeah, that was a pretty hard hit for the 24. Bresci also want to take one last ride on board with the 50 of Lakatos, because I think he was the one that kind of almost made the 24 go into Stafford as they were sliding. Just want to double check that if that was the right car. You can see him, he got a little bit of a piece of that clip, the 24 in the rear.
Matter. I don't think it's going to matter. I think Bresci was pretty much doomed there. He was just in a bad spot. He would have had to get turned into the grass to avoid that, but instead he's going to have huge front end damage. That could be the end of his chase hopes with only 2 races after this.
Notably, Colin Farrell staying out. That's an interesting choice. Not sure if that was planned or not. But Bresci leading car down on pit row. We'll see what it's going to be. Definitely imagine he's going to be sitting there to get some lengthy repairs. It's going to be Michael Stroll that will lead the field off of pit row. Then Jason Brophy, Casey Lakatos, Shane Tarrant, and Calvin Filarski. So a big change up in the order, especially with a lot of the front runners getting damage to their machines.
Yeah, that is huge for Tarrant. He was going to lose it's a bit huge for Tarrant. He was going to lose a lot of points to 2 drivers, especially, who are really fighting him hard for this championship. And now it's only going to be 1 driver, unless something crazy happens that lets Bresci back into the front of the pack. But he's really only got to worry about Stroll gaining points on him now.
Yeah, Bresci again sitting extensively on pit row, going to try to take the best out of this caution to fix up his car, get back out there. And I'm surprised he actually lost the hood on that, because the rest of the nose doesn't look too terribly bad. But that hit definitely missing that hood is gonna do wonders for the aerodynamics of that machine.
Yeah, he's gonna be really slow down the straightaway. He's probably down a ton of RPMs and all that. He's probably just gonna be riding at the back of the pack for the rest of the race here, as McQuiston and Fambro are gonna just come through pit road. Now they're going to pit, so that was by design for Fambro. He's not going to do a Lakatos. Lakatos, it's kind of unfortunate he has that extra set now. Everyone else is down to 1 set of tires for the last 40 laps, and I believe he has got 2 sets still, so even with the damage, he still might have an advantage, but it's definitely going to hurt him.
Yeah, and I mean, you got to consider, too, the fact, as you mentioned, only 1 set.
With Bresci, even though he did hit Bresci a little bit there, his damage looks very minor. A bit of fender damage for both on the front end, maybe even the right rear a little bit, but all in all, compared to the others, he has very minimal damage.
Absolutely, and I'm looking also at Shane Tarrant, who started back in 10th up into 4th place for his machine. Jason Brophy started back in 9th up to 2nd, and Michael Stroll started in 8th up into 1st. So of the top 4 that are up near the front, none of them have really been inside the top 5, so interesting stuff. They're just showing you how this race has gotten turned on its head after 2 fairly sizable wrecks, bringing out the last 2 cautions out of turn 4 and Calamity Corner. We'll see if any more wrecks are waiting for us here, as we got 80 miles, 40 laps left to go in this race. As the pace truck dies off, it's going to be Michael Stroll giving command of the field. Let's see if anyone else has got anything for that 8 car who's been looking pretty strong so far. There we go. Green flag out in the air to bring us back green here at Michigan. Great jump for the 8 of Stroll. And Bresci and Licata is going to drag race down into turn 1.
Yeah, Brophy and Lakatos for that second position. We're going to see if there's any new contenders that come into this one, because Michael Stroll, his contenders were Riley Thompson. The 24 was fast, the 5 was fast. He was able to compete with them. But now, pretty much everyone he was battling with is gone. Everyone at the rear of the field with damage and all that. And it's you got Casey Lakatos, Shane Terry, and Brophy, guys who haven't been in the top 5 really all race. We're going to have to try to battle that 8 now. This is a really vital race for that 8 machine of Stroll.
Yeah, and also you can see Shane Terry had a really good run on the 50. Couldn't quite get it done for second place. Lakatos is going to keep up that second place spot. It looks like Stroll is going to check out. He's half a second ahead of the next 4 cars in behind. There's also Calvin Filarski. He's also lining up for a really solid finish. We'll see if he can get it done here as he tries to size up Jason Brophy.
Well, a few things happened here. Thomas Bresci just came out of the pits. He might have had required repairs and all that, and maybe that's why he didn't come out of the pits immediately. So he's actually a lap down, about to go 2 down. And also Colin Farrell, I thought I heard him talking about something. He has some sort of penalty under yellow, so he's coming in to serve that now.
Yeah, actually, Bresci has actually just come out in front of the 8 car. I think I heard his car flying on by. Indeed, there is that 24 machine.
You wouldn't think anything would happen between those two. I wouldn't think so.
I'm glad you're picking up what I was putting down.
We're on the same wavelength in that sense. I don't think he'd be doing anything for Stroll, but he might be. I wouldn't be surprised if he's looking for the 61.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens here. I'm definitely interested in seeing, because that was very convenient timing when he came out in front of the field. But indeed, we'll see if something does happen. But meanwhile, looking back at second place, Lakatos having a great run, one of the best runs he's had all season in fuel up here, looking potentially at a shot of a win here if you can try to catch up to Stroll. That's going to be a tall order to ask for, because Stroll's been one of, if not the dominant car of this race. Terry in line up and behind has been dealing with a damaged race car, trying to work around that 50.
Yeah, this would be his best finish of the season without a doubt. He's at the very tail end of the fuel finals, 77 points out going into this one, not looking to gain that many points, but all season, 3 top 10s, 0 top 5s. He hasn't been up there really at all this season, just because of bad luck and maybe just not having the pace, but he's looking to have a strong run here, maybe his first top 5 of the season, but it might not be a top 3 if he keeps getting past, as the 83's going for it now.
Yep, and here comes Terry on by. I'm not sure how much of a fight Lakatos is going to put up. He's typically more conservative and just kind of likes to ride around. I'm sure he's going to be happy even if he gets a top 5 out of this. It'll be a really solid finish for him. So he's going to sit in behind the 83, and we'll see now, does Terry have enough car? We've been kind of debating if that car is strong enough to chase up and run in the front. So far, so good for him.
He was about 2/10 faster than Michael Stroll that time by, but if I had to guess, Stroll's probably really conserving hard. He really doesn't have many challengers anymore. He can really kind of lay off a little bit here. He's also probably being a bit cautious once he gets around Bresci. Speaking of Bresci, the other drivers he was battling with, Colin Farrell just called it a day. He's retired.
Yeah, I saw him pull down a pit road, so he's going to retire back in 16th position. Bresci's still out there running in 14th. So he's just trying to, again, damage control for him. He's the only car 1 lap down. He is still 1 lap down, but is in danger of falling down to 2 if Stroll gets past him. As look at this monster battle back in behind Riley Thompson here. It's Chad Simpson, Will Roberts, Hurley, Chambliss, and Matthews all in a gaggle for around 8th place.
One thing about the 24, Bresci, he goes the second lap down. He's going to have to battle with Travis McQuiston, or I say battle, he's going to have to stay in front of him. McQuiston's running 41.5s, while Bresci, he's actually not too far off the leaders. 39.9 from Stroll, a 40.1 from Bresci, so he's not actually completely slow, even though he doesn't have that front end.
Yeah, that is a bit surprising to see, although, again, you can only imagine how much better off he would be if he didn't have the damage. So, as you still look at Roberts fighting with Hurley, who we saw they almost made contact earlier in the race with Chad Simpson near the front. Here comes Stroll and Terrian as they're starting to fight for first and second place. So with Casey Lakatos, they're starting to catch up to Bresci up ahead.
Yeah, only a 10th faster. Bresci not off the pace here, so I don't know. He's got to stay 1 lap down to have any sort of shot at getting that lucky dog, getting back on the lead lap and gaining more positions, even though he looks He looks is really struggling with a lot of damage. He still looks faster. He's still on pace with a lot of drivers in that top 10, so it's huge if he could stay only one lap down.
Yeah, and I think it's safe to say at this point, he's probably not going to do anything, because I think if he was going to do anything, he would have done it by now. I think he's just trying to fight for his season at this point in time.
Boy.
Was looking like he's going to pick up a lot of points in Terrian, but Terrian looks like he might expand his lead here. At least on Bresci, Stroll trying to keep that 83 in back, because remember, there also still quite a bit of a gap between that 8 and the 83 in points.
And Stroll's trying to have a bit of a shot at getting the most laps led as well, with Bresci not being in. I don't think Bresci led anywhere near 50 laps, so if Stroll can lead to the very end, or at least close to it, he might be able to get even more bonus points out of this.
And we'll see as these guys fight down the front straightaway here. Lakatos trying to eye up a pass on him for that second place spot. I thought Lakatos was going to fall off, but here he's coming back on the 83 trying to gas it up.
Meanwhile, the 8 of Stroll, he's caught the 24 of Bresci. It looked like Bresci lifted out of the corner. Not quite sure, but that car just might be really bad down the straight. It was Stroll's going to go under him here. And Bresci, you see Stroll turned low. He made sure nothing happened. He made sure he got to that seam as Bresci's going to come back on him. Get a bit close to the bumper. I don't think he's going to do anything as the 50's way up the racetrack out of 4.
Ooh, yeah, indeed. It is almost got a piece of the wall. Hey, I can't imagine Bresci would do anything with Stroll. I don't think they've really gotten into each other. I mean, they're racing each other hard, but if anything, I'd imagine being mad, as you mentioned, at the 61, who you can argue brought out was the cause of that last wreck. Terry now working up the inside of Thomas Bresci. Get past that lap car. He's going to get past him, put himself clear, and then you got Lakatos and Brophy in behind there starting to fight for third place.
Yeah, Lakatos really washed up the track out of 2 and 4. He's really struggling out of these corners. It's starting to bite him as the 20's going to get back under him here. And also Cal Filarski, he's up there all of a sudden trying to get a bit higher up in the top 5 position. So that's a really good run for the 2 machine. I'm not sure if he's even, I can't remember the last time he had a top 10. 1 top 5, 1 top 10. So I think it's been a while.
It has, and again, Lakatos and Filarski just holding on to that top 5 at the moment. Next car to challenge him is Robert Kenny back in the 34. He's been having a very quiet day. I think first time we mentioned him on the broadcast. Started in 14th, is up into 6th, trying to chase down the front group of drivers. I got Riley Thompson dealing with his damage machine. I'm sure he's kind of dreading the next 30 laps as of what could have been. He's got a damaged car to the front. But looking back up near the front of the field, Terrian trying to chase down the 8 of Stroll. Do you think he's got anything to challenge, or do you think Stroll might have this in the bag?
I'm not going to say Stroll has it for sure at any point here. I think he's got the stronger car. I think he's probably, in my opinion, he's probably saving a little bit more than the 83 does just because of the lack of damage. A completely clean car, he can save a little bit. Terrian, to stay up with Stroll, he kind of has to push a little bit harder, I would think. So I think the 8 has the advantage, but I'm never going to count out the 83 with how consistent he is.
Yeah, you can see the difference in times, 40.8 for Stroll, 40.9 for Terrian, so a little bit off on the lap times, but still keeping up pace. It's essentially a top 2 breakaway, if anything, as Brophy's trying to chase them on down, then Lakatos, then Filarski, your top 5.
Look at the run Filarski has. You kind of starting to see how bad that damage is for Lakatos. He's only hitting about 190 to 191 into turn 2. There, as Filarski was a full few miles per hour faster into turns 1 and turn 3 last time as well.
And battle, as you're mentioning, going to be heating up for that 4th place spot. Here comes Filarski. There you can see the speed difference you mentioned here as he's going to look to the inside here to see if Filarski, if Lakatos is going to put up much of a fight on that outside lane. It's been tough to defend in that outside lane, but he's going to stay in the middle, and that's really where you want to be as he tries to get a good run off of 4.
He got a better run. We'll see how much it really matters here as Filarski is going to see him start pulling that difference back here. He's going to start getting a run on Lakatos into turn 1. He's going to get back about even with him into the corner.
And down they go, trying to hit the apex down on the yellow line is Filarski. Lakatos still trying to ride that high lane. Filarski's going to come up the corner, going to slam into the 50. Both of them making contact. Here comes Kenny. He's going to say, don't mind me if you do. As he goes to the inside, going to take 5th and also trying to take 4th from Filarski.
Kind of a bit lucky there that Filarski didn't go head on into the outside wall, or Lakatos got put into the wall. Got a bit lucky with how the contact worked out. It's going to pass both of these drivers in one fatal swoop. He's going to get up to the 4th position, but Filarski's got the run back. He clears Lakatos. He's going to make another run on the 34.
And Farsky definitely not going to be done with this just yet. We'll see if Kenny's going to be able to break play. Looks like he is for now. I want to take a replay of that because just to see how aggressive that was between both those drivers. This is them heading. Yeah, this is them heading off into 1 and 2, and then you're going to see Falarski slowly slide up the track. Well, and Lakatos actually got out. That was actually, I think, a good move on Lakatos to just back out. He slammed on the brakes to avoid contact with the two. I think that'd save both their race cars.
Another retiree, Travis McQuiston called it quits, but yeah, that was definitely key for Lakatos to avoid a bigger wreck just lifting there. He realized what was happening once he saw Falarski coming up the racetrack, so he just avoided an even bigger incident there. Smart driving.
Here you see the top 3 fly past the camera, then 4, 5, and 6. Lad Power Bressy, and another close battle there is Ryan Chambliss and Chad Simpson starting to duke it out in behind Riley Thompson's a battle for 7th place amongst themselves.
Yeah, Thompson, maybe that front end damage might even be starting to hurt him. We really don't know, but Simpson trying to get to the bottom of this, literally and figuratively, as Chambliss trying to push him into turn 1, trying to gear something up maybe for a 3-wide move.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Simpson had much of an advantage in speed into the corner, but on entry and in the middle of the corner, looks like the 42 got quite a bit and is going to not quite get clear of that 50 as Thompson gets a decent run on the outside lane, gets a very good run on the outside lane.
Yeah, look at the Bressy. He's going to get coming right in front of the 56 of Thompson. Going to hold him up a little bit here. Thompson's going to give him a bit of a bumper there. Maybe he was looking for Thompson, but I think he was just trying to... I think he just had to pick a lane, and he picked that one.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to pull out of the way because typically when racing lane's on the bottom, so I think Bressy figured I'll just stay up near and top in the corner. You can all blow on by me. That kind of hurt Thompson a little bit, but could have been a lot worse. So it looks like Chad Simpson's going to sit up in 7th place for now. Try to drive to everyone else up in front. Still pretty quiet up near the lead though. Stroll ahead of Taryn, ahead of Brophy, about half a second between them, between all 3 of the drivers.
Also starting to wonder how close the fuel might possibly be. They restarted with about 39 laps. We haven't made a full fuel run, so we really don't know how far the fuel can go. It might be close, but I don't hear anyone saving, so they must be able to make it just barely.
Let's see. By my math, on the low end of the estimate, it's I think you can go around 40-41 laps on a tank, and the lap since pit does include I think 2 pace laps as well. So I think they should be good till the end.
I'm just saying. Thomas Bressy, he's dropped all the way through the field. Next car behind him is Bronson Stafford. So if he was going to mess with anyone, it would be the 61.
If he does choose to do that. I'm going to just keep a camera on this. Nothing else particularly going on the track. This might be something.
Oh, as I say that, it doesn't matter. Not much major. I think Thompson might have hit the wall in the 1. Chambliss trying to get under him. There's a bit of a battle there.
Yeah, it's right ahead of these drivers. As you mentioned, Chambliss trying to make something happen. Chambliss was looking a lot stronger earlier on and has kind of been running around the midfield. It's been a decent day for the 25 machine. We'll get past that 58 car, and there you see Stafford working on Bressy.
Hey, Bressy's not giving him room.
He's not. He's really not giving him a lot of room, is he?
No, he's not. He's going to hit him. Stafford actually, I think, hit him there. They're going to door down the front track. We called it. Yep. Oh, he's playing games with him. I don't think he's going to right rear him here. We'll see if he hits him into the corner.
That's just kind of pointing the finger at each other at 200 miles an hour down the front straightaway. Looks like it's not going to escalate anymore past that.
Stafford called him a very non-polite name in turn 1 there, so he knew what's up, and I think Bressy did too. So I guess that's all Bressy wanted to do with him. I don't think he's going to completely dump him here.
Yeah, I don't think he thinks it's going to be worth the penalty he would get for doing so. He's going to try to just mitigate the damage as it is for now. I think he's just kind of hoping there's another sizable wreck where he can pass some more cars. Bressy currently running 15 for Stafford. Dave, what could have been startup in 3rd, was running into the top 5, top 3 for most of it, but after that last wreck, hasn't really been able to get past 10th place. He is trying to work on Riley Thompson for a 9th, though, and then from Bressy, too, we mentioned, all the way back in 14th place. There's nowhere to really go. Next car ahead of him is Mike Hurley, but is 1 lap ahead of him, so a long ways to go in that department.
Actually, I think 2 laps ahead of him. Bressy's the only driver who scored 2 laps down. Hurley would be the next driver to get lapped, but it's very unlikely anyone else is going to get lapped this race. Bressy needs a lot of help. He needs 2 yellows, first off, to get those 2 lucky dogs, and then he probably needs a 3rd wreck to gain any sort of position to get into that top 10.
A battle brewing between Mr. Matthews and Riley Thompson. Thompson just out there till the end. Not really much he can do as Matthews tried to make a pass on the outside.
I wouldn't think that outside lane would work, but he's actually making it work pretty well here. He got damaged very early on. I think the 56 is just really struggling right now.
Yeah, I think that was probably more of it. I think if Thompson had a better car, he could fight a lot more, but just has no speed middle of the corner, especially on inside lanes. He's going to have to drop on back. Matthews up inside the top 10. Brian Chambers also trying to work on Chad Simpson. It's one of the next closest battles on the track. I do say that, though, Jason Brophy, though, he's catching up to Shane Terrian for a second place.
There's a lot of bickering going on in the rear of the field, I think, between a bunch of drivers. I think we know who in particular. But yeah, Brophy, he didn't look he had. Oh, he was going to hit the wall just as he started talking about him. That was good timing there. But we weren't talking about him all race. He wasn't really up there with those lead drivers. But now that everyone's pretty much kind of wrecked out, he's shown some decent pace there. Last time by, he was the fastest car on the racetrack, but definitely this time it's not going to happen. But he's looking pretty pacey. He's only got 15 laps to do something, though.
Oh, man, he's getting really close to the wall. I think he's
giving it
pushed his
everything.
tires, I think, a little bit too hard, and definitely lost a lot of time on that last lap, having to pretty much brake out of turn 2. Ran on 41.7 to Terrian's 41.2, so lost almost half a second there. So he's going to have to try to get his head down and make that up and maybe make the pass on Terrian, who's just been kind of managing his gap back to Stroll. I think he knows that with the way they're running, Stroll, I think, should gain, I want to say 5 to 7 points, somewhere around there. Actually curious also, let's check on most laps led. I think that's definitely going to go to Michael Stroll.
Yeah, 44. He's only 5 away from... He's about 6 away, actually, from getting the most laps, just clinching it outright. So definitely good for him to be able to get that. Even more bonus points for him. Almost looking like a completely perfect day, actually, except for maybe the pole. I can't remember. Did he get the pole? No. Other than that, it's going to be a perfect day, almost, if he can hold on to the 83, because you know Terrian's fast.
Yeah, so, taking extra points for, the halfway bonus points with Stroll coming by in first. Terrian came back in 7th, so I think it's a 7-point deficit right there. Add a few bonus points to his name. So the gap's going to close in between around, I want to say, almost 10 points. Maybe even more. So he's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good for Stroll. As you mentioned, kind of did everything he needed to do, arguably other than getting pole. But looking pretty strong for the 8 in trying to bring up his title chances here and bring down the lead that Terrian has. And for Terrian, here's what he's going to have in store here for the next 2 rounds. If you do like what you've been seeing here for this particular league, they got 2 more races left in this season. Next week, we head to Bristol for some nice short track action. There's also been some quite a few guys angry at quite a few other guys. So that might have a good chance of boiling over. I think that might be a good race in general next week. And then after that, we end the season at Texas Motor Speedway to crown a champion.
Trying to look through, it wouldn't just be a big points day for him, just be a big day to get the win. No wins at all this season. I don't know if he's even ever won in the fuel competition, so this would be a very big day overall for 8 of Stroll here.
Actually, trying to double check that if he's won in Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series. Let's see. Nope, he has no wins in this series. The only win he has in fuel competitions in the Truck Series. So, that he recently got back in September. So, other than that, he's been winless in the Premier Series, looking to get his first win there. As Jason Brophy's caught back up to that 83. Brophy starting to look like he might come alive here.
He's actually a 10th.5 faster than the 8 of Stroll here. You can see how hard he's pushing it. He's really the only one pushing the limits all the way to the wall out of turns 2 and 4. He's way faster than Terrian. See the lack of damage on that 20 really helping him down the straightaway. Also, the draft wheel is going to make a dive into the bottom. He has no time to waste here with 11 to go.
Yeah, curious if that's the damage on Terrian, making him having to work that car harder on the tires. You could start to see him fall off, and Brophy easily gets on by. Gets a little bit close to the wall off for 2, but looks like he's going to be all safe and sound there. Terrian trying to bring up a run back on the back straightaway, but doesn't look like it's going to be quite enough as they head off into 3. Now, can Brophy chase down the 8 of Stroll for an underdog victory? How about that?
Yeah, that would be something for sure. He was really fast in the season opener at Daytona. Things haven't really just fallen his way this season, but he's really trying to make something happen in the final few races here. I'm trying to see where he even is in the points. I don't even really see him near the top unless I missed him. Down in 34th, only ran 5 races, 2 top 10s. Hasn't had the best of luck when he does race, but this could be his day.
Indeed, and I'm actually trying to check. Oh, wow, I'm 21st in points.
Oh. Pretty good.
Yeah, I've had 8 starts. Wow, I started a lot of races.
Hey, you almost passed RJ 4 less starts.
Yeah, I thought I've only had like around probably only 6 starts. I guess I don't know where I got the other 2. But Brophy here making a really solid charge to get that win here. We'll see. I'm curious to see what the lap times were this time by both drivers with clean air, arguably clean air. So for Jason Brophy, it was a 41.236 to Max Stroll's 41.353. So almost half, tenth of a second.
That might be enough. He's going to have to keep doing that for the last 9 laps or so here, though. So if he can keep up that pace, he might have a shot to get to V8, but it's going to be a long road up there. He's well clear of the 83 of Shane Terrian now.
Yeah, I also know catching is one thing, passing is another. Speaking of a pass, I do see one brewing between Bronson Stafford and Casey Lakatos. Those 2 drivers getting very close to each other, and Casey Lakatos is actually falling off quite a bit. It's looking like he was going to be a shoo-in for a top 5. He's falling all the way back to 8th, maybe 9th here. Just don't think he's been able to manage his tires as well as the rest of the field for this long run.
You can see how bad he's really struggling into the corner. Stafford able to get a run on him and get to the outside of him, which is really not something you usually see at this track. So he's really struggling in and out of the corners here. Stafford's looking to take that position away. As Riley Thompson, I wonder if he just come out of pit road. I think he did. Yeah, Thompson pit or something, or maybe he got loose.
Yeah,
no, he did pit.
Yeah, no, he came out of the pits here. Just you can see right there the graphics. So I think you just figured might as well maybe fellow tires going down. Better be safe than sorry.
Also traps Bresci in case the yellow comes out, so I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe that could have been it. That's like a 4D chess move right there.
I wouldn't think so. I just maybe knows something we don't, but I feel like I don't hear anyone saving or anything like that. We're coming to 6 to go. It's just,
no, I think
it's an issue.
Yeah, if the fuel was an issue, we've seen guys pit much earlier. At least someone pit much earlier in the run. But I think these guys should definitely be good till the end, unless they're not, and everyone's trying to stretch it. But up near the front, trying to see that gap come down. Came down almost 0.2 of a second last time by.
Yeah, he's running out of time here. I think I'm trying to see maybe the 56 might have blown the tire, but I don't think he did. So. He only lost 2 spots, so might as well try it. But meanwhile, Brophy is closing, like you said, 2/10 last time, 10th and a half, close to that. A 3.48 from Stroll, a 3.02 from Brophy, only a half a tenth there. That's not going to be enough. Down to 7/10, so he's got to really pick up the pace here.
Indeed, he does, and they can see. Sorry, I want to pull that. Nope, that's not the right one. There we go. And you can see, yeah. So Brophy just slightly faster. Ooh, Stroll looked like he got almost into the wall. Coming off of turn 2, so he's starting to get a little bit tight on his car. Brophy's still trying to pursue him down. It's still going to be close. He can't. Stroll can't let off just yet. Brophy trying to hound him down.
Yeah, it's pretty much time to go. Time for Stroll. If he has any tire left to push, he's got to use it exactly right now here. He doesn't have much time to really waste here. 5 to go this time by. See the lap time this time. It looked like a good one for Brophy. A 3.51 for Stroll and a 3.06 for Brophy. Another half a tenth. Still not enough though.
Yeah, he needs to be taking out tenths, not half a tenth, but I have to see here, Stroll still can't afford to make a mistake here in these closing laps. That'll cost him the win. If anything, just needs to nurse his car home for at least 2nd place, and if not, just let Brophy take the win. Can't afford to take himself out of contention here. He's got that yellow car slowly getting bigger in his mirror as the laps wind down.
It's especially getting bigger into the corners. You probably noticed there. Brophy really sending it, trying to get better entries, but really giving up on exit here. Although that draft will eventually pull him back. 4 laps to go here. He said a 10th and a half per lap is what he needs. A 3.52 from Stroll, a 2.63 for Brophy. It's about a 10th. Still not going to be enough, but it's a good start.
It is a good start, but he's starting running out of laps. 4 laps to go, and we always say catching is one thing, passing is another. He's still got to really catch up to that A car up ahead to make anything happen. We'll see as he's trying to bear on down him. He's starting to get a lot bigger from that rear view camera here as the laps wind down. Next time at the line will be 3 laps to go.
It's a big battle for 5th. Filarski, Chad Simpson, Brian Chambliss all next to each other. This might be what the 20 and the 83 would need to get back into that race for the win, to wreck. If what's going to happen, it would probably be here. They're really racing hard for top 5 as Simpson's going to get to the bottom. See this time by Shane Terrian's actually, he's letting Riley Thompson by.
Filarski going to get into the wall off turn 4. Almost came flying down into Chambliss. That could have been the wreck right there. But instead, we're going to see Chambliss go to the inside of Filarski. He's going to be able to clear that 2-4 position.
Lakatos got into the wall out of 4. He's all the way back to 10th, really struggling now. Got to watch out, maybe tires don't go down here. I wouldn't think that would happen, but you really never know. Last time by, oh, look at the 20. I didn't even realize Brophy's pretty much there. He gained 2 tenths last time by. He has 2 laps to go. He is pretty much there now.
Let's see, he's starting to get all over the back of that 8. Is the 8 trying to save something? I think I heard him off the gas a little bit. I have to see here. Here he comes down to the line. 2 laps to go.
Wow.
That 20's there.
Yeah, he's there right now. It's a matter of, like you said, matter of one thing catching him's one thing, passing him's another, and he's going to have a really good shot on him. He really sends it into turn number 1 here and see what type of run he can get. Stroll's really struggling off the corner. You can see the 20 just close in. He's got the run.
Here we go. It looks like Stroll's going to try to block, going to force him down below the white line.
No!
Oh, and he dumps him. The 8 spinning down the back straightaway. Caution out.
Oh my goodness, that was a really aggressive block. I can't believe Brophy got there. I can't believe how that turned out. And all the points that the 8 of Michael Stroll was going to gain, it's gone.
And that's what I was saying. You know, he needed to make a decision. Is it worth fighting with that 20 car? And he paid the price dearly. And meanwhile, Shane Tarrant, he's going to be doing a happy song and dance because he gets up in his 2nd place.
Yeah, that's just a matter of being too aggressive. I know there's no yellow line rule here, but you got to get back onto the track to make the corner. You see, he blocked him all the way to the apron. And it's kind of similar to the 09 500 where Dale Jr. and Brian Vickers blocked Jr. Jr. kind of said, no, you're not doing that to me. Brophy, he tried to get back up to the track, and Stroll didn't give him the room to come back up. I can't really, personally, I feel like he should be saying that to himself. I mean, you're blocking a guy all the way to the apron, down the backstretch, giving him no turn-in, giving him no chance to really make the corner. He's got to put a bit of blame on himself there. I can't blame that on Brophy really much at all.
And I think if it would have been a significantly different story if he left him at least a lane, on the inside lane, that would have been totally fine. But he gave him pretty much no room right there, and Brophy said, you know, again, I have to make the corner at some point. And was totally in his right to do that. And Brophy down onto pit road. Curious to see, do we dare see any sort of pit strategy for anyone up near the front? Christopher Massey's going to stay out. I think he's just trying to lead a lap. But race off of pit road is going to be pretty interesting here.
We'll see Shane Tarrant trying to get to him. They're going to be pretty much dead even, but Brophy's going to get him for that position. Chad Simpson's going to come out 3rd. Chambliss, Robert Kenny. Stroll comes out 6th anyways. He really doesn't have much damage. He still won't be able to get a good finish, but he's going to have to somehow get back up to the 83.
And Riley Thompson also will get the free pass. He's coming immediately down onto pit road to get service to his 56 car. So he would benefit quite a bit from that. And again, the car not in the best shape, but guys, there's a wreck might be able to pick up some solid spots, and I definitely have a dirty feeling we're going to see something like that happen as we start to go into overtime.
Yeah, overtime's probably going to be wild, especially if the 92 does stay out. I don't think he will, but you really never know. Tarrant's going to be fighting really hard for this win. He knows, you know, Stroll's going to be mad. He's only 3 positions behind him. He's going to be charging up through the field to try to get back up there. He's going to really have to try hard here to get to the front and get the win. I think he was faster than Brophy on the short run. That's something I didn't expect. Brophy looked like definitely the best car in the very long run there. And Matthews is staying out.
Yeah, that's an interesting call to say the least, but You're watching the Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series here as we're just about to go into overtime. We're going to have our first attempt at a green-white checker coming up in just a little bit after a very entertaining event here at Michigan. Christopher Matthews is going to be leading the field down to green. This might actually help Brophy quite a bit, and he's actually... So Matthews is taking up there. I think that might have just given the win to Brophy right there, the way they're lined up.
I mean, the 83 is going to have an advantage too. He's going to be able to get through. If anything, this just takes Chad Simpson out of the equation. So those two are going to be able to get by and battle. It helps Stroll, who's on the bottom as well. So it's maybe Matthews just goes high here. Maybe he's out of tires. I'm not quite sure, but it's going to be very interesting restart seeing everyone on the top try to get by him.
It is. I'm sure they're not going to be too happy with the 92 being out on 41 lap. Well, I don't even think he's got barely enough fuel to make it to the end of this race.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's worth the risk. We saw that maybe he's waiting for more yellows. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I think he's got maybe 5 or 6 laps of race fuel of green flag laps left in his tank. So, the tank's definitely running a bit light, and forget the fuel. His tires again must be next to a shot, considering everyone else in behind came down for 4 fresh tires. It's going to be an interesting start to say the least. The field's going to be having to wait though on the 92 to start this event here as he's lined up on the outside. Pace truck going to pull off for the first attempt of a green-white checker. I have a dirty feeling we might need some more here as the field gets bunched up on the front straightaway, waiting. There we go. Green flag back in the air here at Michigan.
Look at the 8 of Stroll. He went to the middle immediately. I think that's a lane change violation. Look at the start the 83 got. The Brophy's going to have to block him to turn 1.
We'll see what Terrian and what Brophy are going to do, and even Chad Simpson in behind the 92 of Matthews. Looks like he's going to pull up high. Let everyone circle on by. Here comes Terrian trying to make a move on Brophy here on the back straightaway, side by side for both of them.
Look at Stroll trying to get back to the top 5 there. He might have a penalty pending for that lane change, but he's going to go to the inside of a 34 of Kenny, stick it up the inside of the 42 Chad Simpson. Look at the run Terrian has on the top.
How about that? Shane Terrian out of nowhere was looking like he had no dominant car at all in the last half of this race. He's going to lead, coming to the white flag. This is going to be it. 1 lap to go.
And we'll see. Look at the 8 of Stroll. He's going to get blocked by Simpson. They're going to be 3 wide for 3rd. It's going to be down to these two. Brophy's going to try to make some sort of dive to the inside.
Oh, it's going to be dicey here. They're going to both all floor it, and it's going to be 3 wide contact. 2 cars into the wall. Kenny going to hit the wall. Simpson going to keep off of it here. Now the front 2 left, still battling amongst themselves. Brophy trying to chase down Terrian down the back straightaway. Does he have anything in 3 and 4?
He's going to send it to the inside. Does he dare hit Shane Terrian? I don't think he has anything for him.
No, it doesn't look quite. It's not going to be enough. Out of turn 4. Terrian's going to come home with an unlikely win. 2nd win in a row. It's going to be a really solid chase. Looking forward for the 83 car. Jason Brophy going to have to settle for 2nd place. Chad Simpson in 3rd. Or, sorry, not in 3rd. Sorry, I was looking at something else. Bronson Stafford in 3rd. Michael Stroll going to have to rebound for 4th. And you can already see a little bit of a bumper. Not too terribly happy with the 20, and it looks like Lacadas just took out Will Roberts in behind.
Oh, then there goes Kenny. All right, why not?
I
understand Stroll's mad, but that's just kind of, it was just racing. He did that to himself. You can't be mad at him, really.
They can't be mad. You also can't be mad at 3. He was a victim of, if anything, out of today's events, but he's going to be race winner, 2nd win of the season. How about that? Going into the chase, going into the finals with no win, comes out of the first 2 events of said playoffs of 4, takes home back-to-back wins. How about this run? Great run for the 83 Terrian. He's going to light them up down on the front straightaway. Excellent race.
Yeah, he's been consistent all year, just hasn't had the wins to show for it. Had the huge points lead going into this fuel finals scenario. Won the opener, and he's already got 2 in a row. He's looking unbeatable. Where everything seemed to go wrong for him, it ended up going just right for him, getting the race win yet again. That is huge.
You can tell he's loving in the car. He's going to pull off the track there after a fantastic finish to that race. Drama and all. But for now, we're going to take a little bit of a breather after that finish, and we're going to grab some drivers to interview. I'm sure some of them are going to have a few choice words to say. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And welcome back live. We're back with Michael Stroll, your 4th place finish. Michael, you look like you were going to win that race in the last half of it, but unfortunately wasn't quite meant to be. Walk us through.
Yeah, I felt real confident coming into this race. I felt like I had the field covered, but Jason was catching me there at the end. I think I used up my tires a little bit too much. Race was super aggressive. That's racing. I blocked him, and it kind of looked like what Junior did to Vickers in that 1-500. So I don't blame him. He's going for a win as much as I was. So I'll sweep that under the rug. I'm not gonna hold any grudges. I talked to him about it already. So pretty good points night. Still in the championship hunt, and I feel like my win is coming soon as I get better every week.
Yeah, you definitely have been looking more like that opportunity is going to come. We only got 2 more races left for this championship, pretty much between Bristol and Texas. Which you think, that win may come?
Definitely not Bristol. I'm just going to try to survive there and hope maybe something happens to Bressie or Shane so I can gain some points. But, Texas is kind of similar to Charlotte and Michigan and those kind of excel at. So we'll see what happens.
Indeed, we'll see what happens, Michael. Still solid 4th place finish. Great rebound, all things considered. We'll see you see what happens to you next week.
All right, man. Take care.
All right, and moving on next for our 3rd place finisher, Bronson Stafford. And Bronson, is a similar situation to you I was talking about with Stroll. Really, in the first half of the race, you're looking very much alive. Nowhere to really be found in that second half. Walk us through how your day went.
Yeah, the whole first half of the race, I think I had the car to beat. I would run them down from a second or two back, and just when you got up there, no one was giving an inch, honestly. I got blocked 3 or 4 times, leaned on in the corner, and just it eventually spiraled over, and we got caught up in a wreck, but was running 8th before that last yellow and got tires on it. Everyone kind of gave me a lane, and I got 3rd, so I'll take it.
Yeah, we didn't quite get a chance to see any green flag pit stops, but you're still looking like your car was set up pretty well, or at least the way you were driving was looking like you were going to be good for the long run. Do you think if we had some green flag pit stops and went green all the way to the end, you think you could have had a winning car?
Yeah, honestly, I think if I ever got by to the lead, I think my teammate Shane and I think we were gone. We were doing so good with tire wear, and it was evident we'd run them down from, like I was saying, 2 seconds back, and then they wouldn't give us an inch to pass. So I think if we ever got in front, I think it would have been hard to catch us on long green flag runs. But unfortunately, never got them until that last one before the green white checkered. But by then the car was already hurt. So it is what it is.
Yeah, well, at the very least, still got a really solid top 3 finish, Bronson. You've been having some really good runs as of late. Looking forward to seeing how you perform in the next 2 races of the season.
Yeah, I'm excited for Bristol, and I don't even know where we close out, but I'm really excited for him.
Yeah, we'll be closing out at Texas, so looking forward to seeing how you do there.
All right, thanks, guys.
No problem. And moving on next, we find Jason Brophy, man. And Jason, that was a phenomenal run you had the last few laps. We were thinking, you're only taking out a few hundredths of a second. We didn't think you had much of a chance. And then within the last 5 laps, you absolutely were gunning for it. And then you ended up making contact with Stroll. Walk us through what happened.
Yeah, I mean, I was chasing. I thought about 7 to go. I wasn't going to get there. And so I said, well, I don't know what I'm saving tires for. And so I just started pushing as hard as I could. And, if I was going to slap the wall, I was going to slap the wall. I got close. I got a huge runoff, too. I looked outside. I went to go inside. He blocked me all the way down to the white. I tried to stabilize it out because I was swinging so far down below the white line, and there was contact. I mean, I didn't want to spin him or anything, but I don't really appreciate getting run down there. Obviously, it'd been better for me not to have the contact because I was so slow on short runs. And you could see there at the end, I knew I was in pretty good trouble if Shane got a chance at me there. So, and he got to my outside. He made a good move and finished it off. So, but it's one of those, as a part-time driver, I did not want to interfere like that. But on the other hand, you got to pay attention and not block someone down all the way below the white line. Like I got there and yeah, the contact happened below the white. So, I mean.
Yeah, indeed. And also looking at the last restart, I thought you had a really solid shot at taking the win. Do you think there's anything you could have done on that green-white checker that could have changed with you in victory lane?
Well, the first thing I could have done was I forgot to put fuel in the car during the restart. So I actually ran out coming off 4 coming to the line. So that didn't help things, and probably means no, I couldn't have. Second's about as good as I could have done. But I guess I just had to figure out how to drive deeper. It's just on cold tires, I tend to be too loose. All race, I think I was probably 2 to 3 tenths off on just short run pace. So I could have driven it more aggressively, I guess, but I would have run out off 4 anyway. So I'd had to have a pretty decent lead.
Well, Jason, if anything else, was a really, really solid effort for you, especially in the later part of that race. Congrats on your second place finish.
Thank you.
And moving on, last but certainly not least, we find our race winner 2 weeks in a row, Shane Terrian. And man, we thought that, after you got some damage to your car earlier in the race, you were kind of writing you off, not necessarily as a competitive car, but definitely with a shot at the win. And up until that last restart, man, walk us through how that went.
Yeah, how about that? I have never in my life wrecked and won a race before, so that was interesting. I just wasn't aggressive. I saw all of the playoff contenders race aggressive, hitting each other, dooring each other. I got accused of saying my teammate was purposely hitting people to help me, which is not the case. Everyone was just dooring everyone, but I got involved in that wreck and I had a little nose damage, a little rear end damage, but I was still fast. That was wild. I'm so surprised I won. I have no idea.
Yeah, we can only imagine, and with that win, that only expands your points laid out a little bit more. So what's kind of the game plan for you? You've got a decent sized gap compared to some of your competitors. So how are you going to attack these last 2 races?
Bristol, I need to finish because I want to just relax at Texas because I know Texas is going to be just like this, and it's going to be hectic. People are going to crash. I don't want to be involved in it. I just want to points race on that race, but I don't know. I think Bristol, I'm probably either going to get involved in a wreck or these playoff guys are not going to give me any room or wreck me. I have no idea. I know the 24 is not happy with me because he thinks I told my teammate to race him that way, which is not the case. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. There's going to be drama next week, so that's for sure.
Yeah, it always tends to be drama, and what a better place to have drama than going into a race at Bristol. But Shane, you've had a fantastic start to these playoffs. Looking forward to seeing that continue with your 2 wins, maybe win number 3 next week.
Maybe, I don't know. I got lucky on this one.
Yeah, well, that's what you need sometimes. So we'll see if we have some more luck in Bristol. Shane, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
All right, with that, that's going to wrap up interviews here from Michigan. Another really solid race from these guys. It was looking to be a little bit of a lull in action in the middle part of that race, but then we had Brophy come back with a late race resurgence, a great fight for the lead, and then that green-white checker to boot as well. Some fantastic stuff.
Yeah, a lot of aggressive racing as well. That might have even outdone IRP from last week as far as drama goes. And a 2-mile track, that's very surprising. A lot of drama from beginning to end with the 24 and the 8 battling early. Also, the 61 being involved. A lot of front runners got wrecked. That allowed Brophy to get up to the front when a lot of the front runners got taken out there. Drama with 24 and 61. They weren't happy with each other. And then the race for the win, just a block gone wrong. I can't blame Brophy for it once again. Just a bit of a mistake on Stroll's part, not racing for points, but it is what it is. And that green-white checkered, like we were talking about, a huge win for Shane Terrian. Getting a bit fortunate today, but he did the right move at the right time. He definitely earned it still.
Yeah, indeed. And also looking at the rest of the finishing results, notably Brian Chambliss, a nice solid top 5. I want to say that might be his first one. Not quite sure.
Chambliss?
I was just saying, this will be his 3rd top 5. So solid finish for him in that 25 machine. Calvin Filarski, solid finish for him up into 6th place. Will Roberts somehow coming back with 7th after having some early race woes. Looking on to the next page, a lot of guys probably going to be disappointed, namely Tyler Hensley, Colin Farrell, Travis McQuiston, and Bresci, all very competitive cars. Nothing really to show for at the end of that race, and I think they're going to be a little bit disappointed heading out next week when we head to Bristol, and that's definitely going to be some fun stuff there. I'm also just looking forward to driving that track. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Bristol's always a really fun track. Very, very, very difficult for passing, but once you're able to get the line down and all that, it becomes really racy. Especially this season, the fall races, the official series there were actually surprisingly fun. Very difficult to pass still, but it's definitely possible. So I expect a lot of hard racing. I probably expect a lot of crashing between certain drivers.
And also just wanted to plug this in again really quickly. We're really close to 2K subs. If you're watching and haven't subscribed, please feel free to do so. It doesn't really cost you anything if you could just hit that red button. We're so close to another milestone. It's been amazing. You know, I've stepped down full time from SimTV, but just to see us get to that 2K milestone is really, really awesome. So if you can, if you're not subscribed already, please do so if you can. But on that note, my name is Finney Kuna here with Connor Horn, wrapping up coverage from the Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series at Michigan, and we'll see you back next week when we head to Bristol.